Good evening, ballers! We're about to have ourselves a little workshop on this fine Saturday evening with the sun shining outside. Still, go away, sun! Don't you know we're about to talk about some games? Let's continue on with the subscriber workshop. Holla! What's going on, ballers? It's Preach here. We're here on Saturday night to run ourselves a little workshop. And of course, as usual, my camera's gone ahead and made my lips nice and cherry red. So I'm looking a little bit like a clown, but I don't care. What the hell? We're going to be talking about some Warcraft tonight. Boo! We're going to be doing a subscriber workshop as well. If you don't know what the subscriber workshop is, and this is your first evening here, basically, you send me a clip of you playing, and I try and help you become better. Boo! That is the plan. That is the whole game plan, and nothing but the game plan. That is exactly what we do tonight. So, before we get into that, first of all, let's shine this one up for the people. Because on my wall, we counted them, there is exactly 113 brofists on my map around the world. 113 of you guys actually shine them bad boys up and you sent me a picture. And that means for you, I draw this sumbitch back, and I throw it right in your face with a big holler. Yes, my friends, and welcome to everybody in the chat who's joining us on this Saturday evening. Before we get started, a couple of things. First of all, I just want to point out that in just about 7 days from now, at about this time exactly to the minute, is our 10,000 subscriber live show. It's actually going to be spectacular. The first thing I'm going to announce, because the main issue with people sending me footage is I suggest you should buy a little product called Fraps. And it costs you some money. And people don't like spending money on just getting maybe a workshop out of it that maybe I won't even do, depending on how it works. So for you, I've been in contact with Fraps. I spoke to them and I said, yo, I am the ultimate baller in the universe. Give me some free shit. Fraps went, we know you're the ultimate baller in the universe. Here's some free shit. So one of the things we're going to be giving away on the live show is some copies of Fraps FOC, free of charge, straight to you guys. Now, in fact, tomorrow on Saturday, I'm having a big team meeting with all the guys at Preach Gaming, and we're going to talk about exactly how the format of that show will go. And hopefully we're going to have gaming tournaments, we're going to have all sorts of stuff thrown into it. It's actually going to be a big, spectacular show, so I would be prepared for a long one. This isn't going to be an hour. Well, web shows tend to run into about the 3-hour mark now, but I think it's going to be a lot longer than that. We're going to get some tournaments going with you guys, we're going to do all sorts of stuff, and there's definitely going to be some giveaways of Preach Gaming merchandise. T-shirts. It's about all we've got at the moment. We're going to give away some T-shirts. And we've definitely got some copies of Fraps to give away, and there's going to be some other stuff coming out as well, which is pretty awesome. Now, according to the schedule of our analytics and stuff like that, we should hit 10,000 subscribers on the Saturday. 7 days from now, we should hit 10,000. If we don't, and we miss it by a few, because, you know, that's the way of the world, we're still going to go ahead with the show, because we're likely to hit it the next day, or blah, blah, blah. But if you've got any friends, let them know. We're going to have this 10,000 subscriber show, and if you're any good at any games, go ahead to the preachgaming.com forum and just let us know what games you've got, so we can pick and choose what games we're going to use on the show and play with you guys. Perhaps we'll have a little bit of Preach Gaming versus the fans, Preach Gaming versus the ballers, little something like that maybe, with some prizes and some giveaways. It's going to be totally baller. So that is 7 days from now, guys, okay? 7 days from now. Anything else to announce? Oh yes, yesterday we received our first ever donation to Preach Gaming. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was the first time I could actually give back to the guys. One of the big problems we've had recently is our guys just tend to not be able to take a damn break. And in fact, I have been regularly enforcing breaks on the guys, such as Untrial and Ghost. The good thing about our team is they flat out refuse to take a break. As you've seen with Untrial, has worked pretty much every single hour of his waking life to make the website work. We received a donation yesterday which allowed me to give something towards Untrial, and I also took out Ghost and the girls as a bit of a celebration that things were going quite well last night. So I'm a little bit worse for wear. In fact, if you've been following the Preach Gaming forums, you will be aware that I got so drunk last night, I was in fact talking in my sleep. Something Mrs. Preach took the opportunity to post on our forums and let everybody know about that I did that. Embarrassment mode was definitely turned to 12. Apparently I thought it was extremely busy in our bedroom. It wasn't. It was just me being asleep. What the hell am I going to do, you know? So, yeah, it's just a little bit ropey. I am following the chat on both our website, which is a much faster chat, and on Twitch. So whichever one you're on, don't worry about it. I will catch your messages, guys. Yes, low tech support did strike again and dropped that entire bomb on me. I didn't know about it, in fact, until 1 PM today when she actually remembered she told you all. Thank you very much for that, Mrs. Preach. I find you very, very helpful. Workshop. We're doing the workshop today. And in fact, after this video, or after this workshop, I'm actually going to do live how you guys can send me some footage, because you guys have been asking for that video and I've thought about how to do it. Shall I fraps it? Shall I do all this? I'm actually going to do it live and upload that to the YouTube channel. So if you're interested because you're not sure how to create a video and get it onto the interwebs, I'm going to show you how to do that after this workshop. So what is the workshop today? What are we going to be doing? We're going to be looking at what is possibly the most complicated caster class in the whole of Cataclysm. I'm talking about a class that has struggled so much because the mechanics of the class are really, really difficult. And one of the most regularly asked questions that I get either in-game or by email is about this class. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Can you guess the class? Can you guess the class we're going to be doing today? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes while I talk about it. I'll see if anybody gets it right. And as soon as someone does drop that bomb, we're definitely going to be carrying on with the workshop. So, this class, I'll give you some clues. That's how bored I am. I'm going to set this one up for you. This is one of the only classes that still carries 2 specs of the same talents, but slightly altered 2 regular raids. They carry 1 spec for one type of fight, and they carry another spec, still in the same tree, for another type of fight. They're still one of the only classes that has to do that, which is a huge pain in the ass. Let's face facts. We don't want to be carrying both our dual specs for our 1 raiding. That's what them guys have to do. It's really, really terrible. Oh, look at all the guesses going on. Couple of people got it right. I mean, we are naming casters, so it's not that difficult for you guys to get it right. It's a caster DPS. Caster DPS. Caster DPS. No. Affliction locks only carry the 1 spec. Come on. I bet the guys over at preachgaming.com got it right. Oh, of course they did. I check over to preachgaming.com and there it is. Spam, you fucking heroes. A few people over on Twitch got it as well. Wow. It is, of course, the Balanced Druid. It's the Moonkins. The Moonkins, a bit of a history lesson before we jump into this one. The Moonkins has been something Blizzard hasn't really had a direct concentration on where the hell the Boomkin should be. They had this wonderful idea one day, oh, well, the Boomkins are sort of nature, the Druids and all this stuff, and then someone went, Eclipse. Oh yeah! And then he just walked out of the office because he's essentially just screwed up the Moonkins for the next 2 years. Wanker! He come up with this idea of Eclipse. He says, oh, well, we've got like nature spells and we've only got arcane spells. Why don't we do something with that? And then the other guys at Blizzard were like, well, what can we do? And he goes, Eclipse! And just leaves the room, you know, collects his wallet of cash. I've just fixed Moonkins. Leaves the room. Leaves the rest of the devs to come up with ideas of how Eclipse can work. And so far, they've got it almost there, but not quite right, and it's getting another change in Mists of Pandaria. Moonkins are getting entirely changed in Mists of Pandaria again. So going back to TBC, Moonkins had this really weird Eclipse mechanic. Eclipse was essentially a trinket, if this makes sense. Let me follow you through with this one. Eclipse could proc. So if you were casting Wrath, you could proc Lunar Eclipse, and therefore you had to cast some Starfires. The thing about it, of course, is that this proc, like a trinket, has an internal cooldown. So in order for us to make the use of it, what we had to do was download extra mods that actually told us whether or not we were able to proc another Eclipse. It was absolute insanity. Really, really crazy. And I had never agreed with it. And in fact, I have got some evidence. I'm just trying to find it now. I just remembered I have this. If I can find it quick enough, I'll go ahead and load that bad boy up. Yeah, boom. Now, just to prove that I had some experience with this one, it loads up. There we go. I'm going to switch it over to there. What's this here? What is this right here? I hope you guys can see that. There it is. This is Preacher rocking some Yogg-Saron, Progression, Preach the Immortal, and yes, I am a Moonkin, which just goes to show exactly how many different sorts of classes and stuff I have played in raids. You can see my threat there, DPSing like an absolute gangster. There's me rocking the Moonkin back in the day. That is Ulduar times. So during Ulduar, we had this really weird mechanic where we had to download these strange mods that told us when we could proc different eclipses, and it just didn't work. It was a pain in the ass, and people who didn't know about downloading these kind of mods just struggled immensely because they were like, what the fuck, man? How can I make this work? Really weird. Then Cataclysm comes along and they say, no, what we'll do is we'll create this Eclipse bar, and they'll see when they're going to proc Eclipse, which all seems very well and good, right? And then suddenly they gave us gave Moonkins really crazily overpowered dots, maddeningly overpowered. And then they added in Sunfire, which then changed the whole game again. And the Moonkins were like, well, this all seems really weird and creepy, and I just don't know what the fuck's going on. But one of the big issues is it's very easy for people who get attacked by Moonkins or see Moonkin DPS and say, Moonkins, just dots are overpowered. But one of the biggest things Moonkins struggle with is controlling their Eclipse. In fact, the entire class boils down to how well can you control your Eclipse. If you can control Eclipse and your dots successfully, you're going to do killer DPS. You're going to do absolutely outrageous DPS. It's not uncommon to see people who are generally resto druids and the guild needs an extra DPSer switch over to Moonkin, because the gear's relatively the same. Not quite, but close enough. Swap in a couple of DPS trinkets and a different kind of weapon and a different meta gem, and you can generally Moonkin it up, but the DPS will be way different compared to an experienced Moonkin. So, you guys who've been rolling Moonkins for a long time always ask me this one simple question. Preacher, when I'm dotting a class, I watched your basic guide back in 4.2. You said when we proc an Eclipse, we should cast an Insect Swarm. That gives us this massive haste buff called Nature's Grace. And then we go ahead and we drop a Moonfire or a Sunfire, which sounds all cool, because that gets that hasted buff. And Moonfire and Sunfire are hugely powerful. Crazy powerful. So all the rules I told you was basically just proc Eclipse, fire off an Insect Swarm, fire off a Moonfire, and then work your way back down to the other Eclipse. Sounds simple enough, right? But then you run into this really weird position, which is the dots run out before I get to my next Eclipse. But my dots are hugely overpowered, you've told me that as well. What the hell do I do? Should I be recasting my dots? Should I leave them without dots? What should I do, Preacher? I mean, I even had this question from heroic raiding Moonkins. People in heroic progression guilds contacted me and they were like, Preacher, I'm just not sure what to do. I really have no idea what to do. So today we're going to examine that. And we're also going to look at 2 fights in total. We're going to look at one fight which is going to be Ultraxian, a straight up DPS fight, and just see how this baller rolled. And then we're going to look at another fight which uses the other spec of Moonkins, which is about controlling your dot damage as well and managing your Eclipse in a really effective way. This is what we're going to talk about today. And I've also recorded myself doing the fight so I can better demonstrate it for you, because this is going to be quite a little complicated one. It's not very easy to do. So, first of all, I'm going to jump into WoW. Hopefully you guys can see this. Hello, Jason, and take it easy, Jace. No big problem at all. And you can't see that for shit. Never mind. WoW is always going to ball up when I try and do this because I didn't preset it up beforehand. That's the problems with having a hangover, and today, on a web show day, it just doesn't work sometimes. Oh, well. So we're going to jump into the first fight. Where are you? There you are. Cool, cool, cool. Let me switch you guys over to here. So, we've got Dirgekin. Dirgekin, a nice trollish name. Dirgekin is actually going to be following the basic rules. He files off his Treants and stuff like that, and then he's going to start DPSing. And there you can see he got his Insect Swarm on first. You can see this here on his UI. Now, I will point out, guys, that this is so zoomed in, it actually makes me cry. Zooming in this far into your character when you've got a UI that's very spammy. MSBT is an add-on I use, but I also turn off the bit that comes at the top, which tells you about buffs and shit. You don't need to see that. It's very, very spammy. And what we'll see when you zoomed in this far is you just can't see anything. And for a class that really benefits from dotting all the way through, you need to be maximum zoomed out. Now, there is a script command for it, but the best way to do it is so easy. Just press escape, go to your options, go to interface, I think it's interface, just click on camera, and you can actually choose to extend your camera max distance. You can choose it to go farthest away. Then roll your mouse back. Whoa, 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 a whole world has opened up in front of you. Really, really cool, and you can see everything that's going on. So, getting back in. So he's fired off his Insect Swarm and his Moonfire. Now, the things I want you to be paying attention to is, yes, this bit is all kinds of spammy and all kinds of crazy. I know Grid's obviously really big. He's shown his damage meter here, just so we can get an idea of whereabouts he lies. Now, this guy's not in bad gear either. He's in relatively decent gear, which is all good. The other bit I want you to pay attention to is this up here. This is your Eclipse bar. If you've never played a Moonkin, you'll have never seen this before in your life, and you'll be like, what the hell is going on? This is your Eclipse bar. Basically, the yellow sun is your solar eclipse. Okay, sun, solar, easy. When you're in the solar eclipse, let's see him hit an eclipse and I'll show you what happens. Come on, one more spell. Boom, there it is. You see this sun appears? This means he's just hit solar eclipse. His solar bar lights up like the sun. Absolutely fantastic. And he gets a message here, you are in solar eclipse. Now, when this happens, ballers, quite a few things happen all at once, which can be quite daunting sometimes. First of all, your Moonfire changes into a spell called Sunfire. Sunfire hits like a fucking truck. Sunfire smashes you square in the face and breaks your nose without even trying to, okay? Sunfire hurts. Not only that, Solar Eclipse buffs every nature spell you have, including Insect Swarm. Bear that in mind because we're going to get to that shortly. So just as he's hit this Eclipse, he's got Insect Swarm buffed to the teeth. His Moonfire is now Sunfire. And he's now able to cast super powerful Wraths. Essentially, Moonkins only have 4 spells, okay? We've got Moonfire / Sunfire, Insect Swarm, Wrath, and Starfire. There's a couple of extra things going on there, but 3 out of 4 of those main nukes are all nature spells. So instantly, common sense tells you Solar Eclipse is baller. Solar Eclipse is where you want to be. Solar Eclipse is actually going to smash faces. Solar Eclipse is absolutely awesome, and when we want to do mass AoE damage, Solar's where we want to be. If we think about mushrooms and their huge explosive nuke, also nature. Very, very important, guys, okay? So we're going to jump back in, and as you can see, he's done the correct thing. When we use a dot after we when we reach an eclipse, we get a buff called Nature's Grace. Nature's Grace gives us a huge haste buff, okay? You can see it here. So what the trick is to use Insect Swarm first, get the Nature's Grace buff, and then fire off the Sunfire. So, and that means your Sunfire's got all this hasted buff. Now I want you to watch what happens as we carry on with the fight. He's casting his Wraths like he should. Star Surge on cooldown. Nice, nice, nice. If you don't know what Star Surge does, Star Surge will take the benefit of either whether you're in Lunar Eclipse or Solar Eclipse. It doesn't really matter. Just use Star Surge on cooldown generally, unless you're Bloodlusted. Little small tip, won't make a huge difference to your life either way. So I just want to pause. Boom, there. Now you can see here, his bar is about to leave Solar Eclipse. Once you leave Solar Eclipse and start building towards Lunar, what happens is you lose the benefit of being in a Solar Eclipse. You lose all the damage bonus to Wrath. You lose all the damage bonus from your Sunfire. It actually changes back to Moonfire. And if you cast an Insect Swarm, you will not get any bonus damage at all. So you have this weird, uncomfortable period. I mean, it can feel like, ugh, you know, I've got no bonuses. I just need to get to my next Eclipse phase as fast as humanly possible. I need to get there. I need to get there so much that I just can't believe that I'm not going to be there soon enough. That's all Moonkins feel when they get out of this form. And that feels really awkward and comfortable. It's like, oh my God. I just suck for this period of time. My damage sucks. Everything sucks. The world hates me. Oh, God, just kill me now. That's what it feels like when you come out of your Eclipse. Tasty. So, he's in this weird phase now. Now, what you're going to see happen is he's going to start... keep casting Wrath, because Wrath's going to take you towards Lunar. Now, there's the problem. Here's what... all the Moonkins run into this problem. He's come out of Solar. His dots no longer have the bonus damage, but his dots were about to expire. Let's take it to here. Okay, he's in this phase here. There, you see, his dots have got 1 second left, but he's nowhere near Lunar Eclipse. Absolutely fucking nowhere near. Look, he's half an Eclipse bar away from hitting his next Eclipse. So what the hell do we do? We've got these dots running out. We're nowhere near Lunar. So the thing is that comes to common sense is to recast. As he's done there, he's recasted. He's used 2 global cooldowns for that. Now, this is the important part, because this is the bit we're going to solve for this player. We're going to solve this for Dirgekin of what the hell he should be doing. So, his dots are running out, which can feel shit, because everybody's telling you Moonkins have these crazy dots. So if you're DPSing without the dots on, you're in a really bad way. And your DPS is going to suffer magnificently. It's going to be catastrophic for your overall damage, okay? Really, really bad. We're also using 2 global cooldowns to reapply dots. And the question that goes in your mind is, if I didn't use those 2 global cooldowns, could I have got to my next Eclipse sooner and therefore not had to recast those dots? That's the question. That's the big struggle for it, okay? That's what goes on in the Moonkin's mind. Is I don't want to DPS without my dots on. I don't want to do that. I need my dots on to do major damage. But if I recasted them then, would I have almost hit my Eclipse sooner and then been able to get powerful dots back on? Let's see. So he's recasted his dots, and now a couple of casts later, he's gone ahead and he's hit Lunar Eclipse. There you go. You see the nice big moon comes over here, Eclipse Lunar, his bar lights up. Awesome, awesome. Now look what he's done. He's instantly recasted his insect swarm as he should to get his Nature's Grace buff, and then he's going to drop a really powerful Moonfire. He's also going to go ahead and pop Starfall, because Starfall is an arcane spell, and therefore it gets bonus damage. So all the rules are working. He's casting the correct dots at the end of his... When he reaches his Eclipse, he's doing everything he should do, and now he's going to hit this weird area again. Look, his dot's got 1 second left, and he's recasting those dots there while he's in Solar Wind. So these dots have no bonus. He's casting his Starfire, his Star Surge, as he should. Technically, there's nothing majorly wrong here, but still his DPS is suffering hugely. Really, really suffering really badly, okay? And so if we skip towards the end of the fight, we're going to see... Dirgekin's going to pull about 20k DPS. In pretty decent gear, 20k DPS. So something is clearly wrong. And it's all about how to manage these dots successfully. One thing we're going to need to talk about here, and I'm sorry to get so in-depth on the mechanics with you of this one, is I need you to understand how Starfire and Wrath work, because they do not work the same. Starfire arrives at its target immediately. Now this is very, very important, okay? I want you to get this in your heads if you're playing Moonkin. Starfire arrives at your target, be it a boss or a trash pack, whatever you're attacking, instantly. The second the cast finishes, the Starfire drops on the mob. It's instantaneous. Wrath has a travel time. When you cast Wrath, there can be at least 1 to 2 seconds before Wrath reaches the target. Therefore, the effect of Wrath on your Eclipse bar can actually happen a couple of seconds later. It's very important, and we're going to get to why shortly. So I'm going to boot up my video now. Oh yeah, let's look at Preacher failing. Now I want you to be fully aware this character is garbage geared. Super garbage geared. There we go. Okay, so you've all seen my UI before, and if not, welcome to the channel. I'm Preach. Hey, you can go and see my YouTube channel, My Preach Wow. Now, I want you to notice something very, very crucial here is Moonkins are so weirdly designed that you actually have to prepare for your boss fight before the boss fight. Okay? You actually have to plan ahead of time how you're going to start the fight, and this involves abusing trash. What you want to do as a Moonkin before you start a fight is you want to kill the trash previous by reaching Solar Eclipse. And when you hit that Solar Eclipse, you don't cast any dots, okay? Very, very important. When you start a fight, of course, as we've just said, nature spells, 3 out of 4 of our nukes are nature spells and benefit from being in Solar Eclipse. So we want to start a fight with Solar Eclipse, but we also want the Nature's Grace buff. So when you come into something like Ultraxi and you're killing those dragons beforehand, when you get into the last few dragons, make sure you get your ass to a Solar Eclipse and don't cast any dots. Just stop. Don't cast any dots. Don't cast fuck all. When you get to the boss, and this happens for every single boss, a good person to watch if you're not sure after this workshop is I'm Super SDW from Method. When he streams his raid, he's a member of my guild, awesome Moonkin, and regularly you'll see him with a Solar Eclipse, not dotting and casting Starfire. Don't stop DPS, but just cast Starfires while the trash finishes up. You want to do this and time it really well. So you'll come into the fight as I am here, if you can see here. We came in with some ballers. We've got Ashley's in here and Jackie and all sorts of guys are in here rocking and rolling with us. You'll see I've got a full Eclipse bar. My Eclipse bar is totally full. The next thing you want to do, as you can see here, is place your shroomies. Remember, shrooms can be placed before the boss. Okay? Shrooms can be placed before the boss. Now, activating the shroom detonation isn't going to cost you a global cooldown. And while you're in solar, those mushrooms get a hella benefit. It's just a free extra 50-60k damage that you can go ahead and just blow up when you're in Solar Eclipse. Boom. So if you didn't manage to get into a Solar Eclipse just before the fight started, go ahead and get your mushrooms down anyway. And when you eventually arrive at a Solar Eclipse, fire off your mushrooms. Nice big 50-60k damage. Ooh, pro tip. So we're going to start this fight. I'm going to show you how to manage these dots to get a more effective start. Remember, the gear is here is really terrible. We've got 26 seconds to go. Dum, 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 dum. 15 seconds. Come on. Time just skipped forward there. Oh. There you go. Mushrooms down. Now, what I'm doing here is Treants aren't much damage, okay? Treants just aren't much damage. In fact, the best way to modify Treants is to find out when your raid's going to Bloodlust. Good luck finding that out in a looking for raid. Bloodlust can happen anytime. I've seen Bloodlust at 70%. Who the fuck Bloodlust at 70%? Weird. But you want to time the boss pull so you can fire off your treants beforehand. But we'll get to the matter at hand, which is dot management. Insect Swarm on, Nature's Grace on, Sunfire, and here come the Star Surge and the Wrath. And now I'm working my way down to Solar. I want you to watch here. This is my Solar Eclipse bar. Very easy. Now, this is the important part, and this is where you're going to go, Preacher, you fucking genius. This bit's going to really change the way you think about how you do things. You can time... Now, as I just told you, Wrath has a travel time. Okay? You never have to stop DPSing when you do this. You charge your Wrath that will take you out of Solar Eclipse. Now, this is going to take a little bit of practice. Bear with me. Your Wrath has a 2 to 3 second travel time. It's that long. Believe me, it is. And as it's firing off, and it's going to take you out of Solar Eclipse, you recast your dots. This enables you to have Nature's Grace still on. And remember, I've got shocking gear, so this will be much easier for you guys who've got better haste. You see, you've got your Nature's Grace up here. You see it's going up. My dots are still only 5 or 6 seconds away, and normally you wouldn't recast dots at that part of time. But watch. Wrath is about to run out. Recast the dots and get it off, and then instantly out of Eclipse. You see that? I just redotted, instantly out of Eclipse. As I've just said to you, the nature dots are like super powerful, okay? Your nature dots are absolutely insane. Insect Swarm's buff to the teeth, Sunfire's buff to the teeth. So now we've recasted those dots, we're easily going to carry those dots to the next Eclipse. Another thing that we're going to bring into this is when you hit Lunar Eclipse, you do not have to immediately redot. You don't have to do that. This is what we actually do, okay? We're now working towards our Lunar Eclipse. See, I'm just casting Wrath like a gangster. Wrath face, Wrath face. Now I'm going to hit Lunar Eclipse on the next cast. Now I've still got 4-5 seconds left on my dots. I'm going to do this. Starfire. If you can pull this off, if you can pull this off, then you're a total gangster. I did it. Yeah! But essentially, because Wrath has a travel time, you can start casting your Starfire while it's travelling, and you'll hit Lunar Eclipse just before the Starfire lands. Awesome. Let's get back into it, because I just thought I'd just give myself a big thumbs up there for being totally baller. Here comes the Starfires. Now my dots actually ran off there. Look where my dots ran out while I was here on my Eclipse bar. I only had 2 more casts to go before I came out of Lunar. This is when I'm going to redot. Now remember, the Nature's Grace will proc as soon as you cast a dot outside after you've procced an Eclipse, okay? You'll get Nature's Grace, which is the big haste buff, anytime after you proc an Eclipse. So easily enough, if you can cast them here, this is what glory happens, is my dots go on there, and then I just easily work the way down. Now one thing you'll notice very, very quickly about this is that in fact, getting from Lunar back to Solar is really quick. It's like stupid quick, okay? Compared to the Wrath, because you don't have this travel time with the spells. It happens really, really quickly. It's really cool, really exciting stuff. Very, very simple. But what we've done now, just by changing that, just recasting our dots just before we left Solar Eclipse, almost 100% uptime on our most powerful dots. And we've saved ourselves and gained ourselves immense amounts of damage. Not only are our dots always buffed by Nature's Grace, we also have a higher uptime of Nature's Grace, and we also constantly have 100% uptime on our most powerful dots. Really, really cool. I absolutely just love this little change in mechanics. It's all about these little things, guys. These really tiny things that really change the way we play. Now, I'm going to run into Solar, but of course, Solar dots are just stupid awesome. So I'm going to recast those straight away. And then we're just going to rock ourselves back down with the Wraths, and you're going to see it again round about here. It's going to be fucking easy mode. As soon as we get to this Wrath, now I just want to point out when this happens, Bloodlust for Moonkins is like, it's like when you get the final weapon in a game. It's like getting your legendary staff, okay? It's like getting your legendary daggers. It's like getting Shadowmourne, and then you go into a battleground and you see some guy with no resilience and you chop his fucking head off. That's what Moonkins get from Bloodlust. Because that Bloodlust just makes our dots incredible. Because not only do we have these stupidly overpowered, stupid powerful dots, but we also just have them ticking so effing fast. Because the haste buff from Bloodlust instantly recast your dots. Instantly. The second you have Bloodlust, instantly recast your dots. I remember before Bloodlust ends to instantly recast them again. Because they're going to be ticking like... They're just going to be fucking tunneling into the boss so hard and ticking so fucking hard. Oh, man. Bloodlust is A-OK in my book. Instantly, as soon as you get Bloodlust, get those dots recasted. It doesn't matter where you are. With the haste buff, you're going to be easily proccing Eclipse left and right. It's going to be absolutely baller. You're not going to have to worry. Now watch, when I hit Luna here, I switch to Starfire. I don't even recast my dots until I'm almost out of Luna. Literally almost out of Luna. There we go. Instantly recast there. And I have the Nature's Grace haste buff and Bloodlust taking me all the way to Solar. So cool, and taking maximum advantage of all those dots. Here, I've still got Bloodlust on for a few more seconds. I had 6 seconds left on Time Warp. I'm about to go into Hour of Twilight, which is totally gangster. Recast those dots just before Hour of Twilight to make sure I've got fully Bloodlusted, Nature's Grace, Sunfire ticking while we're out of combat. And you're just ticking for so much damage, guys. You're really going to be laughing your balls off. Supreme, immense amounts of damage. Absolutely love it. Keeping as much Bloodlusted dots on for as long as possible. Recasting there, those dots were going to run out. And now we've just simple little change. It's such a simple change. Whereas previously, what we saw in the video and what a lot of Moonkins do is we recast our dots when they run out. And it's not your fault by any means. It's not your fault whatsoever, because the whole game structure of World of Warcraft tells you recast your dots when they run out. Doing them beforehand is like a total waste of time, right? It's not the case for Moonkins, and this is where we all fall down and we all get completely messed up, because the rules of the game tell us to recast these dots when they run out. Makes sense, right? But no, not for Moonkins. That's just not the way it works. It's just completely different, and this is why we like it. And this is why I quite enjoy the Moonkin class. I'll be sad for the changes in Mist of Pandaria where we only get the one dot and it auto refreshes, so whatever. This whole element of the game is going to be wiped out. But getting into the habit of dealing with mechanics like this now is going to make you a much better player in the future and make you an intense better player. It's going to be so cool, guys. So I'm just going to skip ahead to the end. Now remember, my gear is atrocious. Keep going, he's going to die in a minute. I just want to point out that Sephiroth in the chat died on this fight. Trollololol. I gotta get it in, Ashley. That's what you fucking love. You love it. So I'm just going to repeat this process. Remember, use your Starfall every time you can while you're in Lunar Eclipse to get the max bonus. Come on, die, 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 die. Die, die, Ultraxian. Let me stop moving the mouse so you can see. And I'll scroll down and you see that I came out there with 22.4k DPS, 22,400, which isn't incredible by any means, but we're talking about a considerably lower geared character. Really, so much lower geared, really made it fucking easy. That's what it's all about, okay? Just a switch of just thinking about it. It's just if we keep our Sunfire Insect Swarm ticking and then don't refresh our Luna sucks, right? Luna sucks balls. Luna buffs your Moonfire. Who fucking cares? Sunfire kicks Moonfire's ass, okay? If they went into a prison fight and it was prison rules, Sunfire would absolutely have that guy's shorts on the floor in seconds. I'm talking serious ass kicking. We want to get out of Luna as fast as possible and get back to Solar, because Solar's where all the good juicy stuff is. Solar's going to make us really happy bunnies. Absolutely cool. We really like it. Okay, I'm going to take 2 minutes and then I'm going to come back with AoE multi-dotting goodness. AoE multi-dotting goodness and where the Moonkins really shine. Because we're talking for 30 minutes. Psh, that's a good end to part 1. And then I'm going to jump straight into AoE multi-dotting and stuff like that. Okay, I hope you guys are going to like that, because I'm going to tell you how to do maximum cheese on a Moonkin and really see the full-on benefit of being a Moonkin. Okay, so I'm going to be back in 2 minutes, ballers. I'll see you.